Well, thank God for that. Oh, dearie me. Arsenal 2-1. Hello, welcome to the Gooner Talk. Back again with you guys for another show. Just want to caveat something very, very quickly. I have currently got in front of me 2 glasses of water because if you may have seen from last night's show, my throat was not good and it's still not good today. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this show for the usual length, which we usually go for about half an hour. We'll be lucky if we get to 10 minutes of how things go. And apologies if I'm drinking throughout this. I was nearly drinking something a lot stiffer than water had we have not managed to get that over the line. Thank you ever so much for tuning in, people. Thank you ever so much, live chat, for tuning in today as Arsenal have beaten Sheffield United 2-1 in a game in which was a game of 2 halves, certainly. I don't think there's any other way to really describe that game. First half was easily one of the most boring games I have ever had to witness, unfortunately. It was such a dire performance in the first half from both teams. Nothing really happened besides 2 possible red card incidents, which we're going to talk about. Now, I mean, the first one is David Luiz tugging back. I'm not sure who it was he tugged back. I think it might have been Oliver Burke, actually. Last man pulls him by his shirt, and that's a red card. I mean, John Egan was sent off a very, very similar incident in which he did a lot less than what David Luiz did as the last man, stopped him from getting to the ball before Leno. And that was certainly, in my opinion, stopping a goal-scoring opportunity as the last man. It was definitely a red card, unfortunately. We were very, very lucky with that one. And then the second incident about that was the Sander Berge tackle on Aubameyang. Now, in the moment, I tweeted out saying that I didn't think it was a red card. And the thing about these sort of incidents is that we've seen so many times that challenges that have been worse than that have not been given red cards. And it comes down to sort of like your own discretion, I suppose, about how you interpret these sort of incidents. And it's not a red. I said it's not a red because, as I've said, I've seen worse tackles in the Premier League this season and in general not given red cards for that. But you could also turn around and say that you've seen a lot less and given red cards for it. So I suppose it goes both ways. I genuinely didn't think it was a red card from Berger. I thought it was yellow, as close to like, I guess that's that sort of that orange card. It's harsher than the yellow card. It probably puts you on your final warning. At the same time, Yannick says there, another orange card. I think that's certainly the way that you should be kind of interpreting that one for sure. Oh dear, painful stuff. So that's horrible. The real Janice says neither were red cards, in my opinion. Willian had a poor game, says Rydog. I mean, let's talk about that first half. Willian was really, really poor. I think that out on that right-hand side, he was kind of isolated. He couldn't really impact the game at all. But let's talk about the second half, because the second half is where the game came alive. And I tweeted out at half-time, I said, we've got to give this game about 10 minutes and then bring Pepe on. I did say that I think we should be bringing Willian off instead of Pepe. But it wasn't to be. It was Nketiah that went off, which meant that Aubameyang then suddenly went through the middle, which was interesting because it meant that we finally saw this 4-3-3 with Aubameyang in the middle, someone behind him, and that someone was Willian. Pepe going out onto the right-hand side. And within moments, a fantastic piece of combination play, which ended with a Bellerin cross that then ended on Bukayo Saka's head. A fantastic header, really, really well done by the youngster. Really, really good cross from Bellerin as well to get the goal. And it's been said so many times that Bellerin's crossing and final ball has been lacking. And it's been really something that has been worth criticising of the Spaniards. And that that cross was just spot on. And you've got to give Bellerin credit for that. And then Bellerin got another assist. I mean, it's one of those assists where he doesn't really do much. He kind of gives it to the player and he goes. And that's exactly what happened with Nicola Pepe. He took the ball from Bellerin and just ran and eventually ended up getting the ball in the back of the net. Fantastic goal from the Ivorian. Really happy to see him score. And I'm glad also that Willian stayed in the middle of the park, because in that formation, I thought Willian did really, really well when he moved into the middle of the pitch. I thought he was influential. I thought he did the job really, really well. So I was 100% happy with that. And I was 100% happy with Pepe getting the goal as well. Carl Halberg says Pepe gets his own assist. Jared says Bellerin with the second assists is what we'll call it for sure. Calvin Cloet says Gabriel Sabas, man of the match. Two people that we've not yet spoken about. Gabriel again, really solid. We look like we've signed a really, really, really good defender in Gabriel, and we've needed someone that's solid, that goes in for headers, that wins balls, that takes no you know what, and ultimately does what he needs to do to win the tackles and get a really good performance. There was a misplaced pass in the first half, but other than that, that was the only thing that I could really put wrong with his performance. Danny Sabas was really good in the middle. And actually, it was really nice for us to see that when Xhaka is not on the pitch, that we can still play. That we won a game without Xhaka as well, which hasn't happened since August 2019. I believe I saw a stat from James Benge. So it was going to be a challenge. He obviously played both games against Liverpool. I don't think it was more of a tactical switch to put El Neni and Sabas in. I definitely think it was more of a rotational switch, because seeing as Xhaka played both games against Liverpool in midweek. But Sabas and El Neni did really, really well. And El Neni, I mean, he's just being consistent, isn't he? He's Mr. Consistent right now. He's doing an excellent job in the middle, and I can't complain about that whatsoever. Ahmed says Sabas was fantastic. Matt Gray says I feel really safe with Gabriel on the ball. Javier says we can all see Willian's creativity when he can play through the middle. And I 100% agree with you, mate. Owen Martin says I hate to bring it up, but how do you think Ozil would perform in the role that Willian played today? Owen, I don't know, and frankly, I don't care, because it's not going to happen. I don't mean that, and I'm not answering you rudely. I just don't think that. I don't think it's worth thinking about anymore. I really don't. Akene says, Tom, you are underestimating El Neni's ability. Did you see the first goal? I don't think I've said anything that would underestimate his ability. I think I've praised him non-stop. I said that I think he was really unlucky to not be selected in the West Ham game, on the second game of the season, because I thought he was really good. I thought he's been solid. A good 7 out of 10 performance for me. If I'm well enough, I'm going to try and do a show with Raf a little bit later on. Effectively, it'll be a show where I tee up Raf to talk, and then Raf's going to go for it, because I can't see my throat lasting too much longer this evening. Rydog said, what did Willian do well today? Well, other than the first half, let's discount that for a second, because it's not worth talking about. He didn't. But when he was moved to the middle, he was so much more direct. His positioning was so much better. His passing was better. He was more influential. Sometimes, Rydog, I think you need to take your negative tinted spectacles off for sure. Iron Cub says, we need El Neni in the midfield if we plan to play this 4-3-3 with Alba centrally and someone behind him. And I think that if we're going to play with a 4-3-3 with Aubameyang through the middle, and that means you need a creator in behind, Xhaka, El Neni and Sabas are really good options for that deep midfield position. I'd love if it was Partey. I don't really want to talk about transfers too much right now, because no news has come out. It's been very, very quiet on the transfer front today. It's going to be interesting to see how Arteta answers some questions in the press conference about that. It's the first time that we would have heard of him from the news from Our yesterday. So definitely keep an eye on that. We may cover that in a news show if I'm up to it a little bit later on this evening. Chris Gewer says, so not understanding why Gabriel didn't play against Liverpool on Monday. Is he left-footed? I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't really know why Gabriel didn't play against Liverpool. It seems a bit of a mistake, to be honest, on Arteta's part that he didn't play. But what I like today is that we finally, and I've been pressing it, and I've been saying it in, week out, that we need to be putting David Luiz and Gabriel in a back two together, because I think it can work. I think that they need to play together. It was only this week I said in a back four, but even when I was saying for the back three, I've been wanting to see David Luiz and Gabriel play together, and they were really solid. Other than David Luiz's mistake where he could have got a red card in the first half, I thought he had a really strong performance. Let's talk about their goal, which, if you think about it, if Arsenal win this game 2-0, I don't think there's too much of an inquiry about the performance as much. But obviously, conceding that goal was damaging, really, really damaging. I think it came out of nowhere. I'm pretty sure that McGoldrick is right-footed. I will check that. Well, let's just go on to good old transfer market and check if he is in fact right-footed. He is right-footed. So Tierney did everything right in showing him onto his left foot. I don't think many people expected. I don't think anyone expected him to sort of swaz that in with his left boot, but he did that, and he did that really, really well. And And after that, things got a little bit panicky. The mental fragility was tested by some of them. There were others, like I thought Gabriel was very composed throughout. The bit at the end, did I miss a super chat, Real Janice? Did I miss a super chat? Oh, I'm so sorry. What did I miss? Have I missed one? I've missed it. No, it's gone off the screen. Was it from Colorado Guna? I actually think it popped up. Let's see if I can scroll back on my phone and I'll give him a highlight. That's completely my bad. I was probably drinking at the time, and that's not a euphemism at all. But I probably was. So apologies for that. Let me just see if I can scroll back and find that super chat on my phone. I probably cannot. No, I can't. So Colorado Guna, if you throw in your next comment, mate, I will highlight it for you. Sorry, mate. Manouche says Sabas is a baller. He's like an artist when he gets on the ball. Javier says Tierney protected himself from the right foot. It happens. Gonna talk. Let's talk. Fantastic name as always when he tunes in. Tom, until Pepe come on, we were horrific. Sabas becomes good when we were winning, not before. So I don't think that's true. I thought Ceballos. I genuinely thought Ceballos was influential before that. I don't think that's. I don't necessarily agree with that comment. I think that is in itself wrong. I thought Ceballos had a decent game, was just sort of pulling the strings from deep as he could. He obviously set that ball through for Aubameyang a little bit earlier on in the second half, where that was really unlucky. He really nearly got on the end of that Aubameyang, who I have to say, Aubameyang hasn't scored since his new contract, which is, it's a little bit worrying. You want to see him score more goals, but maybe if he starts playing through the middle, we might see that. The question would then be, do you start Willian on the left or do you start Saka on the left? And if you do, it means you're going to have to go to a back four. Absolutely guaranteed. If you play Aubameyang through the middle, it can't be in a back three. It's just not going to work. Colorado Gouda says, I said 2-0 without Xhaka and 1-0 to Sheffield United with Xhaka. What are your thoughts? I mean, the goal. You look at the goal. It's nothing to do with Xhaka, is it? It's nothing to do with Xhaka. Tierney showed him onto his weaker foot, and McGoldrick has swazzed one into the bottom left-hand corner. So there you go. Danny says 388 people watch us. 413 of you are watching now. We've only got 38 likes. That's less than 10%. Come on, Gooners, likey. Especially because I'm doing this, holding 2 glasses of water. Maybe I don't know if I'm going to have to go get a test. I don't know what's going on now with this whole testing system in this country, but the throat is not in a good place, it's fair to say. But other than that, I feel fine. There's no cough. There's no temperature. Absolutely fine. So I don't know. There has been a bug going around our area recently and not the bug that you're thinking of. So who knows? Daniel Roberts says, could Leno have done better? No, I don't think he could. It was a very, very nice out-swinging effort. So I just think that he couldn't have got there. So no, I'm not going to put that down to Leno or whatever. Chris Giwa says, Tom, is it me or do we hold the ball a fraction too long when we're attacking? Saw Saka pause, saw a few other people do this as well. Doesn't quicker passing put Sheffield under pressure? Of course it does, Chris. And I think it's not a bad point to highlight. I think sometimes that we don't look up in motion enough, and sometimes the players need to pause to look up where the teammates then play the ball. I think that's probably the issue. Bradley says, have you got kids? No, but as a teacher, I see about 150 of them every single day. So I'm assuming that's probably where I got it from, Bradley. That shot was unstoppable, says Tom, unbelievably. And Rydog says, great strike. Yeah, there's no way anyone with an agenda can put Leno in any shape or form. It's like, no way you can blame Leno for that goal. Oh, dearie me. Christopher Fung says 2 really well worked goals from us. We need to create more. We need to create more chances like those in every single match. Anthony Michael says, I stand by my comment of Aouar not offering significantly better quality than Sabas. Get Partey, please. We're just going to have to wait and see, aren't we? Ouar's done. It's gone. It's out of here. It's all going to be on Partey now as to whether or not we can get this. We can get this in. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in the last 48 hours or 36 hours or however long is now left. But I just don't. I should say that I saw someone tweet me earlier saying that the domestic window is open until the 16th. So if Arsenal want to sign anyone within the country, they can still do that up until the 16th of October, which I didn't actually know. So There's always that. But when you're going to look from outside, the likes of Partey, etc., you've only got until tomorrow to do that. So we're going to have to wait and see. Sabars bossed it today, says Chris P. Alfred says Partey Lacazette swap incoming. I don't think so. Colin says today Dan was the man. JT, what signing would you least like to see? It's a good question. I suppose you have to think about the players that we've been linked to. The thing about Jorginho is I don't think Jorginho, whilst I think he's a good player, and I think that the reaction to that is purely down to who we were linked prior to Jorginho. Maybe it's a little bit hyperbolic. I wouldn't want him because I don't think he improves on what we have in Xhaka already. So that's why I don't think we should waste any money on bringing in Jorginho. And I don't know why they would get rid of him either, is another thing. Probably Jorginho, the players that have been linked to. I'd rather we went out and went to go for someone else. I'd rather see Szoboszlai, as I've said, says that he's not leaving this season. But I just feel like if Arsenal went in with a 30 million euro bid, I think it would tempt RBS. I think it would, and maybe he would be tempted too. So they have got Champions League football, and we don't. So there is that, obviously, and he does love that club. So yeah, Oscar says Ian definitely wouldn't want Oscar coming in, and that's completely fair enough. Owen wouldn't want to see Zaha come in. Jorginho says Matt Gray. That's brilliant. Yeah, my guess would be Jorginho would push Sabas up the pitch a bit more. Yeah, I can see that happening as well, Rydog. But I mean, why waste the money when you've got El Neni and Xhaka there already? I'd rather save it for January if we could go out and get a more creative player for a lot more money. I'd rather us not waste any money on someone like Jorginho, to be honest. Aslan says Cavani to United. Is it true? From the sounds of it, yeah, it does sound like it. I think that's a really odd one. You're taking away that position from Martial. I assume Martial would then move wide, or they'd go 4-4-2, which I highly doubt. Mason Greenwood's position is then competing with Rashford and Martial. So yeah, it's an odd one. It seems I compared it to Falcao Part 2. So yeah, Matt Gray says I would cry if Partey signed for Chelsea. You're not the only one, Matt. I don't know where they'd find any more money from to do it though. I mean, if we ended up getting Jorginho and funding a move for them to go for Partey, how ridiculous would that be? Would you want Declan Rice? I don't think he's going anywhere, to be honest. I don't think West Ham are selling. Omar says a first win over Sheffield United since they came up. Miracles are possible. I mean, let's get on Arteta for that. Another record broken. Gouda Crack says, "Get into your bed, son. You're knackered." I'm not actually that tired. I know I'm coming across very lethargic just because I don't have the end. I can't put the energy into my voice because my throat hurts. That I can't. I'm not actually that ill in terms of like how my headspace is, but I can't really. It hurts to talk. It hurts to talk right now, but I'm committed to this show and to doing it. Chris P says Kim Kallstrom incoming. Lol. Corey Burnside says Fabian Ruiz, Samaria, Renato Sanchez are other good options. Fabian Ruiz is too expensive. Samara is a risk, but I would take him. And Renato Sanchez is a big risk. Big risk. Anthony Michael says Cantwell or Samara? Possibly so. JT says Mainsley's chest pass, by the way. Oh, God. I saw Mainsley getting absolutely ripped apart if we'd have conceded from that chance. I don't think I'd have been able to forgive him. At all. Red Jilly says, not the best subs today. We still pushing with Saka and Sabas allowed Sheffield United. What do you mean not the best subs? Our sub came on and scored. Our sub came on and we won. What game were you watching? Greg says, we won. Sean says, much love from Zimbabwe, brother. Thank you ever so much. And I hope things are well out over there in Africa right now. All Things Arsenal says, we're being mugged for Torreira. Yeah. I had a chat with James Benj today, and I think that what we're going to do is me and James are going to sit down after the window closes and we're going to have a chat on the podcast. So I'll get the old Benji boy back on and we'll have a chat about the window. So yeah, that's what me and James Benji are probably going to do next week. So we'll see what happens in that regard. But he was up for it. Anyway, I'm going to go now because the voice is going. There might be a news show a little bit later on. There might be a player rating show a little bit later on. I don't know. Just going to keep drinking. I had a bowl of soup earlier that really helped. But speaking for 20 minutes non-stop has probably sent me back the other way. So fingers crossed. It's just a weekend sore throat and nothing else. You know what I'm going to get in the comments? I'm going to get a load of you-know-what comments. I'm not going to use the word because, it's just going to bring up a load of algorithms for the video. So, yeah, but it's been a pleasure to speak to you, mate. Mates? What am I calling mate? It's been a pleasure to speak to you guys, as it always is. I'll see you very soon. And I hope you enjoyed the new intro. We got a couple of them. I'll use the different coloured one to send us out. I'll see you again very, very soon. And as always, like and subscribe, by the way. I keep forgetting to say that. There was like 500 of you watching. Some of you like that video. I've done it with, I'm ill. I might have, who knows what. Fingers crossed, I don't. But we'll see. It's been a pleasure to speak to you guys. I'll see you again very, very soon. And as always, up the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners.